Well, theater people will recognize that as "You'll Never Walk Alone." The beautiful. Thank you for your opening music. That was great, Jack. That's kind of a perfect lead-in to the first song I'm going to teach you today. Today we're just singing two songs that aren't hymns. You've got the hymnals for the hymns. We're good on that. So these are just two songs that I thought of as we're celebrating All Souls Day. So the first one is, I walk in the Spirit, I walk in the light. I walk in the service of doing what's right, and I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. I'll sing a line. I walk in the Spirit, I walk in the light. I walk in the Spirit, I walk in the light. I walk in the service of doing what's right. I walk in the service of doing what's right, and I call on my ancestors to my left and my right, and I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me, to walk with me, to walk with me. Do that again. I walk in the Spirit, I walk in the light. I walk in the Spirit, I walk in the light. I walk in the service of doing what's right. I walk in the service of doing what's right. And I call on my ancestors to my left and my right. And I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me, to walk with me. Let's do the whole thing. I walk in the Spirit. I walk in the Spirit. I walk in the light. I walk in the service. I walk in the service of doing what's right. And I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. I walk in the Spirit. I walk in the light. I walk in the service of doing what's right, and I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. I walk in the Spirit, I walk in the light. I walk in the service of doing what's right, and I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. And the second one is we'll do another echo. I'll sing the whole thing first just so you can get in your head. Let the life I've lived speak for me. Let the life I've lived speak for me. When I come to the end of the road and I lay down my heavy load, let the life I've lived speak for me. Will I go? Let the life I've lived speak for me. 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 When I come to the end of the road and I lay down my heavy load, when I come to the end of the road and I lay down my heavy load, let the life I live speak for me. Let the life I live speak for me. Let's do the whole thing. Let the life I've lived speak for me. Let the life I've lived speak for me. When I come to the end, when I come to the end of
Good morning, Lincoln. My name is Reverend A.J. Galazin. My pronouns are he and his, and I'm your interim minister. Wherever you are on your spiritual, ethical, questioning journey, you are welcome here. If you're visiting us today, I invite you to join me and Stephanie, our newcomer ambassador, after the service for a casual conversation right next to the big tree in the gallery. We would love to get to know you better. Our opening words this morning are from Reverend Marta Valentin. We come together today to honor the universal community of seekers to which we all belong. We gather together today to share from our deepest place of safety, that we might nurture ourselves by celebrating one another. We call into our presence this hour our ancestors, whose love, labor, and commitment made it possible for us to be here now. Let us call one another to this table of abundance, that we may feed on those fruits that sustain us and ask us always to grow. Let us open to this moment with hearts that have no borders. We light this chalice in honor of all souls gathered here, both in our presence and in the great beyond. Please rise now in body or spirit for our opening hymn number 103, For All the Saints.
Faith before the world confess. Do we have a microphone? We do. Okay, do you guys want to do the chalice lighting with me? Remember? We light this chalice. We light this chalice in honor of Unitarian Universalism. We are a church of open minds. We are a church of loving hearts. We are a church of helping hands. Together, we work for earth and work for justice and peace in our world. Okay. So today, I am going to tell you the story about the memory tree. And who I'm remembering today is my little puppy. Well, she's not a puppy. Honeybee. This is my dog, and she was 17 when she passed. And my family had her for 15 years. And I miss her so much, and I want to talk about her today. You want to pass it around? Now is the time of year when many different religions and cultures celebrate and honor those who are no longer with us. In fact, many religions and cultures have specific rituals and traditions that happen at this time to remember and express gratitude for their ancestors. Because when we remember our loved ones with gratitude for the gifts they gave us, their kindness, their stories, their wisdom, the way they made us feel, those memories can heal some of the sadness. Gratitude helps the love we received keep growing inside of us even when that person or pet is gone. So with that in mind, I want to tell you a story called The Memory Tree. There was once a fox who lived with all the other animals in the forest. Fox had lived a long and happy life, but his life was at its end, and it would soon be time for him to pass on. Very slowly, Fox made his way to his favorite spot in the clearing. He looked at his beloved forest one last time and lay down. He closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and passed on. Everything around Fox was still and peaceful. Snow began to fall, gently covering him with a soft blanket. Owl had watched Fox from the top of his tree. He flew down and landed next to his friend. He was very sad. He had known Fox for a long time, but Owl knew the time had come for his friend to leave. He had known Fox. One by one, Fox's friends came to the clearing. First, Squirrel and Weasel, then Bear, Deer, and Bird, and finally, Rabbit, Mouse, and the others came to sit by Fox. Fox had been loved by everyone. He had been kind and caring. No one could imagine life in the forest without him. The animals sat in silence for a very long time. James, it's your turn to hand out the leaves. Owl was the first to speak. He smiled warmly and said, I remember when Fox and I were very young. Every autumn, we raced to see who could catch the falling leaves. That's you. Can you pass out the falling leaves? The other animals remembered and smiled. Mouse said, I remember how much Fox loved the sunset. He always sat at this exact spot. The animals remembered. Many of them joined Fox watching the sun go down. It was a happy memory, and their hearts filled with warmth. Bear remembered how Fox looked after the cubs one spring. Rabbit smiled when she told the story of how Fox played tag with her in the tall grass. Squirrel talked about Fox helping him dig buried nuts in the deep snow last winter. One by one, the animals remembered their favorite stories about Fox. Fox had touched the lives of all the animals in the forest with his warmth and kindness, and they smiled, remembering. When the animals talked, a little orange plant grew out of the snow where Fox was lying. Small and delicate at first and hardly noticeable, the plant grew bigger, stronger, and more beautiful with each story. The animals talked about Fox all through the night, and in the morning, the little plant had grown into a tree. The animals saw the tree and knew that Fox was still a part of them. The more they remembered, the more the tree grew, higher and more beautiful, until it was the tallest tree in the forest, a tree made from memories and full of love. Fox's tree was big and strong enough to shelter all of the animals. It was always buzzing with life. The birds built their nests among the leaves, and Owl raised his grandkids on the branches. Squirrel found a cozy home in the trunk, and Bear, Deer, and Rabbit slept in its shade. The tree gave strength to everyone who loved Fox, and so Fox lived in their hearts forever. Okay. Does anybody have a memory that you want to share? Yeah? You want to share a memory? Yeah. Okay, come here.
I have a memory where I was playing with DJ Catnip, my favorite toy, and I had one that didn't make a noise, but I had one that made the noise. But it was so amazing, and I loved it forever and ever, and I kept it in my brain.
Thank you. Do you have a memory that you want to share of someone that you miss or a pet that you miss?
I had a bunny that couldn't live with us anymore, but I still love it. Mr. Nibbles.
Mr. Nibbles.
That's a cute name.
Steven?
When I was really young, I had a dog who got a disease. The doctor gave it a medicine to make it live a little longer, but eventually they had to put it down.
Oh, that's very sad. What was your puppy's name?
Casey.
Casey?
My dog's name was Ajax, and he passed away a time ago, and it was really sad, but we used to call him Puppy a lot.
Oh. Thank you. Oh, do you want to share, Cora?
So I have a cat that passed away, and her name was Violet. I'm really sad about her.
I have a cat named Buddy.
Okay, guys. Do you want to come back to the classroom with me?
See you later, alligator, after a while, crocodile. We send you out with love and a smile. Thank you for the lessons that you freely share, from the way you play to the way you care. See you later, alligator, after a while, crocodile. We send you out with love and a smile. Thank you for the lessons that you freely share, from the way you play to the way you care.
Good morning, friends. I'm Michael Stratman, he, him, and I have the honor of serving as president of your board of trustees. As we work on the church's budget for the year ahead, I've been thinking a lot about our theme, sowing the seeds of abundance. It's a beautiful reminder that abundance isn't just about money. It's about compassion, gratitude, and the shared care that helps this community flourish. First, I want to start with gratitude. You've already increased your pledges by nearly $18,000 over last year. That is extraordinary. It speaks to your faith, your trust, and your deep commitment to this congregation. Thank you for showing up with such generosity of spirit. That's why it feels especially important to share what's happened in the last few weeks. As our finance and executive teams begin working on next year's budget, we've identified some unexpected cost increases in insurance, taxes, wages, and other essentials. Altogether, they've raised our basic operating costs by about $40,000. And these changes came after our pledge campaign had already begun. So even with your generosity, our expenses now exceed what we had planned for. This is not a crisis, but it is something that we need to meet together, honestly and faithfully. If you have not yet returned your pledges, please do so soon. It is really important that we have a full picture of our resources before we finalize next year's budget. We have less than a week to prepare a realistic budget that reflects both our commitments and our capacity. As a quick reminder, there are no automatic rollover of pledges from last year, so please make sure the office has your updated information. Before I close, I want to recognize our staff and the members of the finance team and executive committee. They've worked with such dedication and creativity throughout all of this. If you're part of those groups, would you please stand? I know we have a couple folks here. Thank you truly. Your leadership and care have been inspiring. Every gift you make, every act of generosity plants a seed that grows into worship, outreach, and care that touches on lives far beyond these walls. Together, we're not just keeping the lights on, we're sowing abundance, one act of faith at a time. Thank you for your generosity, your patience, and your steadfast commitment to this beloved community. Thank you.
When Death Comes Suddenly by Reverend Dr. Kendall Gibbons. When death comes suddenly, taking just one friend, or in a magnitude beyond our comprehension, horror and disbelief we remember. When bright and innocent lives are cut short without warning or mercy, in agony and outrage we remember. When a long life closes with honor and thankfulness, in reluctant submission and gratitude we remember. When bereavement and loss seem to be everywhere we turn, and the world goes dark. In emptiness and pain, we remember. When help and comfort must be given to the afflicted, and the work of our hands is remembered, in duty and sacrifice, we remember. When arrangements must be made, and several threads bound up in ritual and custom, we remember. When it feels that nothing matters and life is at once as it is, and life as it once was seems distant and unreal, in sorrow and numbness we remember. When grief comes upon us in waves and the helpless heart overflows, in sadness and aching tears we remember. When words at last become meaningless and the only peace lies inward, in silence and solitude we remember. When communities come together and the hurt is shared, in mutual comfort and consolation, we remember. When a strain of music or a familiar image brings a gentle, wistful smile, in tenderness and nostalgia, we remember. When the spirit of life beckons us to lift our eyes to all that remains true and good, in dedication and trust, we remember. When the lessons of mutual help and understanding taught by tragedy live on in us to bless the world, in love and kinship we remember. When we come to honor those we have lost by learning to cherish those most dearly around us, and gratitude we remember.
Will you join me now in a time of prayer and meditation? And our prayer this morning is from Lynn Gardner. Can you hear them? Can you hear the whispers of the ancestors? We remember. Their stories are in these walls, in our bones, in the air that we breathe. Their stories are in the touch of a calloused hand, in the melodies of the songs that we hum while washing dishes, in remembered faces. We hear the whispers of the ancestors, how their stories touch our lives and call us into becoming. Blessed be, may it be so, and amen.
I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn. My soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open.
The Larger Circle by Wendell Berry. We clasp the hands of those that go before us, the hands of those who come after us. We enter the little circle of each other's arms and the larger circle of lovers whose hands are joined in a dance, and the larger circle of all creatures passing in and out of life, who move also in a dance to a music so subtle and vast that no ears hear it except in fragments.
Our theme for November is Nurturing Gratitude. And today we begin the month as we reflect together and listen to each other by returning to the Feast of All Souls, when the thin veil between this world and the next is lifted for a brief moment. We attend the grateful spiritual practice of remembering and paying respects to the dead at this time of year. Some of the dead are grateful for being remembered. Some of us are grateful for honoring the dead. Some of us are grateful dead. And it's appropriate for us to celebrate this reciprocal gratitude for those who came before us. Today, we continue this ancient tradition in our own Unitarian Universalist way. We claim the proud heritage of our Universalist ancestors who preached that forgiveness was always better than damnation, and that all souls are on this journey of life and death together. From the poet Mary Oliver, as deep as ever I went into the forest, I came upon an old stone bench, very, very old, and around it a clearing, and beyond that trees taller and older than I had ever seen. Such silence. It really wasn't so far from a town, but it seemed all the clocks in the world had stopped counting. So it was hard to suppose the usual rules applied. Sometimes there's only a hint, a possibility. What's magical sometimes has deeper roots than reason. I hope everyone knows that. I sat on the bench waiting for something, an angel perhaps, or dancers with the legs of goats. No, I didn't see either, but only, I think, because I didn't stay long enough. You can sit down. Like Mary Oliver, I love waiting for angels. I love wandering around cemeteries. Wherever I travel, I make sure to visit an old graveyard, to spend a few moments on a stone bench, waiting for something to appear. I like cemeteries because they're open 365 days a year. You don't need an invitation or a reservation. You don't even have to know anyone there. There's always someone to welcome you. Come as you are. Both the living and the dead appreciate an unexpected visitor. Right here at the Unitarian Church of Lincoln, you have a columbarium outside this sanctuary, a resting place, a gift from Earl and Betty Dyer. And you are invited to visit the columbarium occasionally. All Souls is not a time to declare that the dead are better than we, the living. Our remembrances are most honest when we realize our common and frail humanity, as we honor the many small blessings that come from every life. None of us are perfect. We all fall short. I don't believe that relationships end at the time of death. As survivors, we have the power to sit and wait on that stone bench, anticipating a flash of memory. We have the power to return here. And on this special day, the Feast of All Souls, we have the opportunity to bring the dead back into our hearts and savor their presence. But remembrance cannot be forced. I believe that the dearly departed march to their own time. Today, let us listen for them. And it never fails. Every year I sit and wait, wondering which spirits will visit. Oh, there are those who are always with me. Family, friends, my special mentors, Reverend Rob and Jan Eller Isaacs, John Marsh and John Cummins. But there are always surprising and uninvited guests as well. A few weeks ago, I received an email. Let me share it with you. Dear Reverend AJ, my friend Richard J. Heeken and I graduated from Lincoln High School in 1972. And just recently, I discovered, sadly, that he was murdered in Tucson, Arizona on June 6, 1976. I was heartbroken. Why was he killed? For being gay. He was only 21 years old. I knew Richard during our high school years. It's hard to think that the 50th anniversary of his tragic death will be next year. Thankfully, the city of Tucson established a beautiful monument in his honor many years ago. At least he is remembered in Tucson. Because of his tragic death, the people now have a different attitude toward the gay community. That's a positive step. I don't know whether or not there's a monument in his name somewhere here in Lincoln or at Lincoln High. He should be remembered. All I know is he was a good and decent young man with a great future ahead of him. Please let me know what I can do or what we can do for Richard. Thanks, Ron. Dear friends, I don't get that kind of correspondence every day. I needed a bit of research, and I found an article by Josh Brodesky from the Arizona Daily Star. Quote, Bruce Cole was tending bar at the Stonewall when Richard J. Heeken was beaten to death in its parking lot 30 years ago. We had heard something was going on outside. I had no idea that somebody had been killed until the next morning when it was in the paper. Cole did not know Heeken. No one in Tucson did. The 21-year-old college student was visiting from Lincoln, Nebraska, when he was kicked and pummeled by 4 teenagers outside the bar. But despite Heekin's anonymity, his death galvanized the community, particularly after the teenagers aged 15 to 17 were sentenced only to probation. Months after the beating, the city council adopted an anti-discrimination ordinance to protect the rights of gays and lesbians. It was one of the first in the country and set the precedent for similar ordinances in other cities. It was through his death that great social change came to Tucson and Pima County, said Dan Baling, pastor at St. Philip's Episcopal Church. Richard Heekin's death basically changed the nature of the community, said Melita Quantz, program coordinator for the Anti-Violence Project at Wingspan, a nonprofit serving the region's LGBTQ community. But hate crimes are still happening. It didn't all just end with a non-discrimination law. Close quote. That article was from 20 years ago. Did I say that the dearly departed march to their own time? I've been saying that glibly for years, but now I'm really starting to believe it. And Ron, the person who sent me the email, didn't know that I was planning this service when I received his correspondence. He had never been to the Unitarian Church. He just heard something that Unitarians accepted and cared for people regardless of who they are or the choices they make to live their lives. So thank you, Ron, for reaching out and sharing the story of your friend, Herb Shimmick and Dwayne Spidell.
I'm lighting a candle for my parents, Doug and Eleanor Wakeman. My mother always had some knitting going on, and my dad always had a mint that he would keep handy at church so that when it was time for the minister to stop, he'd signal.
I'm lighting a candle for my parents, Roger and Patricia Dickinson. They helped build this church, and they brought me here in utero. My dad's birthday was yesterday. He was born on All Saints' Day and also Day of the Dead, so that when we interred the parents into the columbarium, Gretchen Woods was minister, and she wore Day of the Dead makeup on half her face, and it was a beautiful ceremony. Every time I come here, I feel their presence.
Um, 33 years ago today, my dad died. So he was my first love and taught me all about kindness and unconditional love, and he's always in my heart. I thought about bringing something today as far as a picture, but you know, my husband died. It'll be 2 years in January, and the plants are his. So every time I come to church and see those beautiful peace lilies, I'm reminded of my husband, Ray.
I'd like to light a candle for Henry Giles Carpenter, my uncle, who was a lovely artist, a gay man who was sideswiped on the highway. And for Neil Galasso, a cousin of mine who was a lovely gay man.
I light this candle for the two dearest men in my life, my youngest son and my husband.
I light this candle for my grandpa, Thomas Hari, who died about 4 years ago, and for Janice Flute, who was the first young person's funeral I went to. She was only 18. She was Native American in one of the reservations. So I also light this in honor of all the Native women who have been suffering so greatly.
I am lighting a candle in honor of my mother and father, technically Clifford and Cora Braun, but they never went by those names. They were always Corky and Shorty. Nicknames forever. And also, honestly, in honor of the pet cats I've had that have been such a big part of my life and are with me still in a number of ways.
I'd like to light this candle in memory of my parents, Charlie and Drusilla Wooldridge. I had a very hostile relationship with them for most of my life. But a few years ago, I was in Pátzcuaro, Michoacán, Mexico, during the Day of the Dead, and my wife Jackie and I were able to participate. That's where it all comes from, and the power was unmanageable. I did an altar that night. My parents came to visit me, and we have since reconciled, and I now have a wonderful relationship with my parents, only through death.
I'm lighting this for Jack Forbes Wilson, who shared the gift of music here many times. And I had actually, Jack and I were on the schedule for today. And so I pulled up the lyrics of one of the songs that we were going to share. Unfortunately, then the music also pulled up, so I apologize for that. I guess we're going to have that song whether Jack was here or not. But the text is, when I die, I'll fall into a hammock, woven of every song I've ever sung. I have sent them out forward to catch me on the day my life is done. So I like to think that Jack has a large and beautiful hammock that he has fallen into.
I'd like to light this candle for my dad, Edmundo Bendesu. He died 5 years ago. He's my dad, my mom's husband, and we're grateful that we're able to honor him today, since we didn't get a chance to have a remembrance for him when he died, since it was during COVID. So, thank you.
I light this candle for my everything makes me cry on top of it.
my youngest brother, who took his life in 2022. He was never able to meet my daughter or the son that I'm growing, but I hope that it shows part of his life.
I light this candle for 3 people. It's been a hard year. My father-in-law, Big Daddy, who I loved dearly, passed in January. And his wife, my stepmother-in-law, passed in August. This is for my mom, who passed in March. And we didn't have time to spend much time as a family because of so much. My life is way too busy. But I was there to usher her out. She lived by her hands, and she was a musician. And she played, and she conducted. And when she took her last breath, my sister and I were by her bedside, singing "I'll Fly Away."
I'm lighting this for 2 beings, one of which is my grandma Edith, who was an ardent atheist, and very strong Unitarian, who would be delighted that I came back to church and delighted that I'm crocheting, but likely appalled that I am crocheting in church. So thankfully, though, she's not here anymore, so she doesn't know. So sorry, Edith. Then also for my 21-year-old cat, who I had to put down a couple of months ago, who I have had, didn't expect to cry about this, who I've had since 2009. Best cat in the world, easiest cat in the world. She was still feeling great and ate half a tater tot before we took her to go get put down, which I feel like just sums her up. Best cat. Loved having her in my life. Very, very lucky for that. If I can get it to light. There we go.
I'm lighting this candle for my dad, who really taught me the value of how deeds and hard work can be more meaningful than words. And for my grandpa, who I see every day in the beautiful nature around me because of what he taught me to value. And they've both been gone 5 years this year. And as my daughter mentioned, our dog, who's been gone a year, his name was Ajax, and he was the perfect dog.
I light this candle for my aunts, Gwendolyn and Wilma Berkey, Lois Trauernicht, Marcia Chambers, for my grandmother, Mildred Beebe, for my grandmother, Tekla, and my grandfather, Emil Eisentrager, and for my mom, Amy Berkey and Gordon Berkey, my father, who I missed so, so much.
For my hospice patients, some of whom are grouchy SOBs and some of whom are full of so much joy and life.
Someone once said that growing old is not for sissies. And as you descend into the vale of years, You lose a lot of things. Things hurt you didn't even know you had. There are times when aging seems hard. On the other hand, you grow a beautiful garden within your mind of all those you have known and loved, many of whom are no longer here. I would like to speak for 2 Unitarians today. One of them is Aura Lee, who died this year. For years, she advocated for the Wayside Pulpit, and something else was always a higher priority, but she stuck to it, and eventually she got it. And Aura Lee has a memorial on the front lawn of this church, which helps interact with the community, and when I see it, I think of her. The other one is Margaret Seymour, longtime secretary of this church and musician, and the rich legacy she left behind of the wonderful music program that this church has had lives after her and enriches the lives of all of us. So, Aura Lee and Margaret.
And then another one. I've already been up here once, but I just wanted to let you guys know something. I'm watching this on the live stream, and I don't think you can see it here, but there are the most lovely set of light motes that are dancing in front of our table here as people are speaking, and it's random. I'm sure there's some sort of explanation for it, but, you know, maybe it's just them.
Well, I forgot my pictures, but I want to remember several people. My husband, James Kendrick, of 36 years, who passed in 2014 at 81 years of age. My first living child, who died at the age of 6 days. And my second oldest child, who was killed by a car on his bicycle at 41 years of age, leaving his wife and 2 teenage children and an extended family, of course.
And I'll light one final candle for all of those that we carry silently in our hearts. Thanks to everyone who shared a memory this morning. Our closing words, wait, we're not there yet. Now it's time for offering and announcements. Thank you, Pam.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Pam Wakeman, she, her, and I'm a member of the Board of Trustees. I want to offer a special welcome to those of you who are visiting the first time and hope that you'll return. Each week we take up a collection to support the work of this church and our partners in the community. We do this because just as we all grow from our participation in this community, we all give back through our time, our talent, and our treasures. The ushers are coming forward now with offering plates. If you wish to try to text your donation, you can text UC Lincoln and the amount to 73256. That's UC Lincoln and the amount to 73256. The offering is gratefully received. And I have a few announcements to share. as our church community extends beyond morning worship. You have another opportunity today to sign up for the 6300 Club. And what is that, you ask? 6300 Club is a dinner club that pairs up people who gather in each other's homes for a meal. The dates are set by the individuals participating, and we take food allergies into consideration. And preferences too, because I don't like chocolate. Talk to Judy in the gallery after the service. And I also found out you don't have to host. So that's another incentive. It is almost time for Handmade Harvest. You've seen the signs about. Join us next Friday night and Saturday to shop early for the holidays. There will be something for everyone. Pick up some postcards and share them with your friends and neighbors. They're probably out there in the gathering place. And each week we host a short newcomer chat after service, which I think Reverend AJ mentioned. Please stop by the tree that's in the gallery if you'd like to talk. Thank you.
Our closing words are from Reverend Leslie Takahashi. We bring into our hearts all those who have gone before us, all those whose living in this world has prepared the soil for our living, all those whose being has enabled our being. Let us also remember those whose existence is seeded in our lives today, not only those who are our physical descendants, but also those whose spirits inherit the love we sow, the hope we reap, and the promise we harvest. May those of us whose religious inheritance is freedom never rest until all who wish to be its children are sheltered. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And please rise now in body or spirit for our closing song, number 96, I Cannot Think of Them as Dead.